Time to do an update on the 3D printed ExoGuitar by Spikeon Studio that I'm going to build. I think I've got all of the printed parts done. Everything is done in 2 filaments, a couple different colors. For the non-structural parts, like the body extensions and wings, I'm using the new Velvet Void color from our ASA Dolos line. The control knobs are also done in that color, as well as the pick guard, which has this decorative top infill. For the structural components that need to be as strong as possible, I'm using our Ambrosia PC ABS in Galactic Black and Galactic Gray. Here is the lower part of the main body with the bridge. So this is a through body bridge style. Here is the bridge insert itself. I also have the printed saddles that go in there. These 2 parts are the electronics enclosure. Let's see, there's the hole for the output jack. This is the top of the core of the body. Obviously, this is where the pickup will be mounted. I'm doing a single bridge pickup on this. And this is where the 2020 extrusion comes in for the neck, and also an attachment point for one of the other shorter sections of extrusion that will provide the structure for the body. And from there, we have the Galactic Gray parts, which are what I'm using for the neck. The headstock with all of the attachment points for the tuning machines. There's also a coin cell holder here and room for a power switch, because this guitar is going to have LED fret markers. These parts will attach to the side of the extrusions to form the back of the neck. I'll need to do some cleanup sanding on these once they're mounted to make sure that these transitional curves are as smooth as possible. And then we have the 3D printed fretboards that go together this way. I'll have to go through and sand these down a little bit as well, and also go and make sure that the slots are clear for the frets to be inserted. And you can see here all the little holes for the teeny tiny LEDs that I'm going to be wiring into the fretboard. So that's where I am with the printed parts. Still going to have some cleanup to do, but overall I'm pretty happy with the way things turned out. Moving on to the hardware, let's talk about electronics. I'm going to be using an EMG active humbucker pickup. This is kind of a classic EMG 81. These are in tons of guitars. One of the interesting things with EMG is that it's an entire system of electronics. So this is the pickup itself. So the pickup came with a wiring kit. So all of the wiring is in here. There's the output jack. All the wires are pre-terminated. There's also the 9-volt battery clip. The kit comes with tone and volume controls, which are already set up here. So you just take your pre-terminated wires and connect them to the terminals that you need. And finally, there's this junction box. So we have our bridge and neck inputs, and there's our output. We've got power injection, which I think is on this red connector. So this should all be pretty straightforward, just as soon as I read the instructions. And finally, there is a ton of hardware. I've got a lot of fastener assortments. There's a ton of different sizes that are needed between button head and socket head. There's multiple sizes of heat inserts that I'll have to deal with putting into the printed parts. I've got several pieces of aluminum extrusion that, from the look of it, I am going to have to tap. So that'll be fun. I've also got to chop a couple of these down to make these shorter pieces that form the body. So I've got a fair amount of work ahead of me, but I am ready to start digging into the project and start getting some assembly done. So I hope to be able to bring you the next part of this with something accomplished. I'll probably start by at least getting the neck together because I need, as I said, to do some finish sanding on that. That's also going to be time consuming putting all of those LEDs in. So once I have something to show, I will be back with more. If you are interested in checking out the project for yourself, I'll put the link to Spikeon Studio's page in the description. So thanks for watching, and I will be coming back soon with the next part of the series.